I don't know, sitting in your room and thinking about what you should be doing strategically in Falco versus Marth. You know, like, usually it's not going to help as much. Unless you don't know the basics.
Yeah.
Unless you don't know, like, the core of the match, which a lot of people don't. But
that's the thing is, like, you look at, like, something simple, like, you could honestly say to a lot of players, like, hey, like, when you are in an edge guard situation, like, how often do you kill them off that situation? And if the answer is, like, pretty rarely, it's like, oh my god, like, you gotta, depending on the character and the, like, the matchup, obviously, like, if it's, like, Sam, it's a bit different. Yeah. But it's, like, you really, if you're Puff and you're playing against a Fox, like, and they're off stage and you're not killing them, like, say, 30 to 50% of the time, like, even 30 is kind of low, like, 40 to 50% of the time, that's not that great, you know, like, that's, like, you know, focusing on some other little thing like drill rest or whatever is not going to get you the same value as just like hitting the back airs off stage. We're going to be seeing some back airs today. Yeah, 3 puffs. So, a little bit of background. Webwipe, I always like to talk about this. Very, very big doubles player. And someone who once told me that he enters singles only so his double seed gets better. So, like a kind of doubles purist. And,
love that.
And the thing I always notice about Webwipe's Puff is really not a resting Puff, which is funny because in doubles you'd think like rest actually gets like a buff, like it's easier to reset people, but you just don't see Webwipe go for rest much at all. I'm not really sure which Puff is Webwipe and Chango, and of course Chango, established player, very good player. So this will probably be one of the better sets of doubles today.
Chango had one of the best sets of last year, in my opinion. Losing to Don't Test Me. That was a good set.
It was. It's painful though when that's the best set of
last year. I know, but that was a really good set.
It was good. It was good.
And Don't Test Me's hard.
I mean, Don't Test Me, you know, one of the legends of the low tier stuff. Like, you know, you often we're talking about like YouTube King's Pichu, but like, what has he actually done? Yeah. Don't Test Me has done stuff. So, oh, okay. Don't go for the rest. Yeah, I actually think you just go for like a charge up smash.
Or some, yeah, you're right.
Like 120 or whatever. So
but what you do is not that.
Yeah. Nice. Okay, just stall it out. Okay. So yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if we saw an upset here from Webwipe Chango. I don't think Double Puff is like the greatest team, but I don't know. I think they're just both very experienced in doubles, and I'm not sure how much Dawson Soonsay team experience they have.
Ooh,
oh, nice.
Oh, more up airs.
I don't think you could hit anything else there.
No.
So
that's still a lot of damage.
Yeah, it is. Especially on a stage like Yoshi's, where like any solid hit becomes an edge guard.
I don't think Soonsay knows what to do. Roger Soonsay is like kind of just running around getting hit with back airs. Doesn't know how to approach anyone. It makes sense.
It does actually make a lot of sense, honestly. Like, kind of a weird situation to be in.
Like literally just jumping around, getting nothing done.
You know in the Batman movies, there's that scene that was in the movie where like one guy is just like fighting himself.
Are you talking about the Nolan trilogy?
The Nolan trilogy, yeah. Do you know what I'm talking about? There's like, because he's shot on film, like there's a scene where just there's a Batman fight and one guy like gets like kicked by like no one. He's just like faking a fight.
Yeah.
And so you only look at it, like you only notice it once you kind of zoom in on that one guy. Otherwise, like the bigger picture, I feel like that's what's happening with Soonsay. Where like once you actually look at what Soonsay's doing, it's like, okay, well there we go. We got like a solid up air, up there. But a lot of the time, it's kind of just been like trying to find his footing, figuring out like what's the best option, but not anything too crazy.
It works out anyway, though. Still a solid win.
Very solid win.
Yeah. If I'm reading lips, that looked like Soonsay saying, I have no idea what I'm doing, but we won. And it was pretty solid, so that works.
Soonsay got like a legendary level of bedhead right now. Just like an insane.
Yeah.
It looks like it's like ready to like jump off and fly away from his head. And I think it literally is just coming from when you're like thinking and then you push your hand through your hair.
Looks like a boy genius.
Yeah.
Little Jimmy Neutron.
Little Jimmy Neutron right here. Love chat. Who's on comms that isn't Blur? Blur.
Nice.
Solid chat.
Now your presence is felt, man. People are going to remember this block for you, man. They're like, you know what was my favorite commentary block? Radar Eggdog Scramble 2. Doubles opener.
Yeah. It's a classic.
It's a classic.
What can we say, you know?
It's a classic, man. I think a bigger stage is going to help Soonsay kind of establish.
I was going to say that exactly, yeah. Like basically, like when you're kind of in a scramble and there's back airs in your face all the time, it becomes hard to like follow any kind of game plan. You're just sort of like, ooh, I'm kind of caught. I have no space.
All you have to do is be the pylon in the middle, dash dancing, and having stage, and whatever the other puff throws your way, you just hit them with an up air or something, and you win through KO power, sheer KO power by being Fox.
Especially against these characters. Like, you know, just being able to get, wow. So that's what I mean by the recovery thing, what we were talking about earlier, where like just being able to get back to stage, which normally is like pretty important but not crazy, becomes so good in doubles.
Yeah. We can retire Fox gets comboed hard and like,
oh yeah,
gets edge guarded and like gets hit, like we can retire that.
He has one of the best recoveries in the whole
We're
game.
not allowed to say that anymore, right? I hope the community has come to a consensus on that.
I mean,
He's like one of the best tanks in the game.
There's a long and storied history about
tank.
Melee PR stuff, man, where people are like, as in public relations, where like they kind of like try to create a narrative for their character.
Yeah.
They're like, man, like I struggle. Everything I do is hard. Killing my own opponent off the top without
we're retired.
Yeah.
I'm not letting them get away with it anymore. Oh, no rest that shield there. Yeah, but still gets a rest. That's always a really hard rest that shield.
I was about to say,
smash on your shield. It's like so hard.
It's not easy at all. Like some people will even do the butt for the jump with the C stick up, but like when I used to play Puff, I really didn't like it.
You used to play Puff?
Yeah, I used to main Puff from 20.
Dude, I don't even know who your main is right now.
Falco.
You're a Falco player?
2014 to 2017, I was Puff. 2016, and then I switched to Falco.
Got you. You're Mango.
Yeah,
Falco
in only one way. In one way. I don't deserve it.
You don't go to locals either? Wow, you're
actually,
Mango, dude.
We got a couple ways now.
Sick.
Yeah, but basically the reason why I switched was just like, I found the character pretty fun, but like a little too defensive. And it felt like every time I played not defensive, it was like a mistake.
Got you.
Which I think
a lot of people feel that way, yeah.
Even now, like, because that was in 2016, now, almost a decade later, like, that feels like the right choice. It feels like if Puff is trying to, like, force interactions and engage, like, it's just not that.
It's not that good. There's ways to play aggressive Puff, but her defensive game is really, really strong, and if you're not using it, you're probably not playing the character to its full potential.
I mean, it's like a good kind of example of, like, you see this with, like, low tiers, where, like, let's say, for example, certain low tiers will like randomly have like a good matchup versus like a certain character, and you could like practice that character and push it, or you could just play a character that has a bunch of good matchups. You know what I mean? So it's the same thing. Like you could try to get better with aggressive Puff and really push that and try to figure out optimizations. But if she just has this thing that's like right in front of you that's better, I'm not sure it's really worth your time.
By the way, this Puff is trying to make this incredible 2v1 comeback. Actually doing an okay job so far. Like, pretty good job,
really
I'd
good
say.
job.
This is a great 2v1 play for the Puff.
Yeah, one more solid hit. Again, Webwipe, just a very, very capable player, but that should be it. Yeah.
Yeah. That's a bummer because I actually played that really beautifully
really
up until then. Yeah.
And I would say, like, hard to play that well as Puff. Yeah. You know, like, again, Puff really good at keeping out, like, one character, not as great at keeping out two characters while remaining aggressive. Yeah. So.
It's arguable that Puff is the second best 2v1 character. Pretty much everyone gets destroyed, but except for Fox, but you can make an argument that Puff can make things happen. I think she's good at keeping people out, but I don't think she's as good at like making hits happen.
Yeah, but then like she can kind of like someone tries to hit her and then she clips them, and then now they're separated, and then she can kind of play the 1v1 again.
If she gets a hit that sends one person far away and then gets the other person scrambling to save that.
That's what I mean.
And then just keeps doing that.
Yeah.
That can be pretty good, but she kind of needs that like hit.
It's like in like a tennis or some other kind of racket sport where you kind of like hit them all the way to the other side, like except